Hello everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my speaking skills series, we're on class 22, Telling a Story, part 3. As I said in the description, today we'll be reviewing some of the key connectors we've learned to use when telling a story, but we'll also add to them a new set. We're going to learn how to summarize or finish up your story and cut it short. In other words, to speed it up. By the end of the class, you should be able to tell a personal story or an anecdote of your own. So that's our plan. First, before we begin, a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out from Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so that I can keep the classroom as quiet as possible, so that we can, not I can. Also, tune in to the new words that you're learning. Use them actively so that I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So, what I'm going to do is go to the part of our notes. By the way, let's get the notes in the chat window. Then I'm going to go to the part of the notes that we need. And what I'll be doing is just taking screenshots, because I can't really share my browser. It seems like it's having too heavy on the Hangout. So what I'll just do is take screenshots so we can see the images that we need to see together. So first, I'll put our notes here in the chat window. Okay. And while I'm waiting for you all to come into the room, I'll just get my name on the screen, and then we'll begin. So, in telling a story, I'm not concerned with telling a story that's fictional. I want you to be able to talk about the past in a sophisticated way, like a native speaker. So that's really what we're going to be working on. So when I say story, what I mean is talking about any kind of event or experience. It doesn't have to be a fictional story. But you're going to find that you're using the same connectors and the same verb tenses, whether it's real or fictional. Okay, so I think I've got my camera working now. I think we're all set. Okay, yeah, we're all set. So, all right, so if we go down to today's class, you'll see in our shared notes, class, oh, I have to update this so we can get to this. Not class 21, but class 22. Let's see if we can do that. There we go, I just updated it. So what you'll see is class 22, and above it you'll see how to tell a story. Class 22 is blank because we haven't done anything yet. I think what we're going to do is actually start before 22. So what I'm going to do here is, let me take a screenshot, as I mentioned, and I'm going to put that on the board so we can start with looking at how to tell a story. So if you hang on just a second, I'll get that on the screen for you. Give me just a second to, it's going to be a little bit hard to do this, but okay, so print screen. Okay. And let's see if I can get that on the board. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. You should be able to see that part of the notes in case you don't have the notes open. It's going to be a little bit small, but you should be able to see it. Okay. Let me see if I can just make that a little bit bigger. Nope, I can't. Sorry, it's a little bit small. But if you're looking on our presentation, I'm on page 6. It's the same information, okay? just because if I share the screen, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So before we begin, let me just say a nice warm welcome to Ishmael in Turkey. I haven't seen you in a while, Ishmael. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you, John Eric. How are
Very
you?
good. I'm all right, hanging in there, as they say. And who else do we have here? I see Maria, and I can't see the rest of your name. Maria Jesus. Is that right?
Yes, all right.
Hi, Maria. Were you in the
Hi.
class yesterday, or is this your first class?
This is my first class.
Where are you from, Maria?
I am from Spain,
Where in Spain?
in Zaragoza. It's in the northeast
Zaragoza.
in Spain. Zaragoza.
Okay, very good. Nice to have you here. Maria, and what do we call you? Maria? Maria Jesus? What do we call you?
Maria.
Maria. Maria from Zaragoza. All right. So, oh, and look, we've got Onair coming back as well. Look at that. Okay. On the screen, I know it's a little bit small. Remember, you can always open our notes and go to page 6 and 7. The notes are in the Verbling chat window. And if you want, I will give you a copy in the group chat as well, if you just give me a second. Let me open that for you. 1 second. Okay, so now you've got the link in both places. I think that's my secret now. I'm just going to take screenshots because every time I try to share my screen, Chrome seems to have trouble when I've got the Hangout at the same time. So I'm going to try to do it this way. All right, so just to review, the first part is what we worked on in the last 2 classes, using sequencers to refer to the order of events. Okay? I don't know if you can read that, Ishmael, but if you can, could you just read through our list of sequencers so that we can keep it fresh in our memory?
Use sequencer to refer to the order of events. First of all, to begin with,
With?
I
want to hear the th sound with the th. With.
With.
I'm hearing wit.
With.
You have to stick your tongue out. With. With.
With.
There you go. Good.
Then, after that, afterwards.
Good.
So then, so.
Yeah, you can use so alone. You can use so then, and you can use any kind of connector after so when you're reaching a conclusion or a point that you want to summarize. And the last one?
At the end, finally.
All right. So these are the sequencers. In other words, putting things in order. But we're going to add 2 new kinds of connectors to our storytelling. So, Maria, do you think I could have you read point number 2 and how to tell a story?
Okay, yes. Point number 2, use parallels to refer to simultaneous events.
Simultaneous events.
Simultaneous events when, be while, and see at the same time. At the same time.
Right. So what we'll see is that you're going to use a specific verb tense after those parallelers. I'm calling them parallelers. That's not a real word. I invented that word. What I mean is talking about actions that happen in parallel, simultaneously. If we're talking about the past, we might say, let's see, 2 robbers were outside of the bank with guns. They arrived when the alarm went off. When I say when, I've got to switch the verb tense. I've got to simplify it. And I switch to the past simple. So that would be a good example to keep it straight in your mind. You might start in the past continuous. They were robbing a bank with guns, right? And when they were doing that, we switched to the past simple. The alarm went off, just as an example. Okay? Sorry, Onair, what were you asking about the intro?
Well, I'm just I'm just wondering about the difference between when and while. Can you give a brief information about that?
Well,
Grammar.
I can, but we're actually going to just use it. So you'll see in a moment, because we're gonna review two sets of pictures very quickly first, and then we're going to go on to the task for today. So we're actually going to use it. We'll talk about a simultaneous action and see how it sounds. Let's say a quick hello to, it looks like, oh, Darren Hosea. Is that right? Am I saying your name right, Darren?
Yes.
Hi, Darren. Where are you from?
I'm from Indonesia.
From Indonesia. Okay, very good.
Yes.
What are we looking at? It looks like you're outside. Your camera is pointing to the wall, but it looks like you're outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see your smiling face, Darren. Smile for us. As long as you're wearing clothes.
So yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Yuki came in as well. I didn't say hello to Yuki. Hello, Yuki.
Hi.
Hello. Yuki, do you think you could read the last part about closers? This is a little bit of a review, but I'm adding a few things that maybe we haven't talked about. Well, one that's maybe a little bit new. So could you read closers for us so we keep it fresh in our memory?
Use closers to summarize or conclude. A, so. B, so in the end. C, so in short. D, to sum up. E, all in all. F, in a nutshell.
So the two new ones, maybe two or three new ones are so in the end, so in short, and all in all. Maybe we haven't seen those so much before. But basically, you're summarizing or concluding in all of those. All right, so let's do this. Let's do something we've done before first. No. Let's go back to the last class. What I'm going to do is give you a set of pictures. We started to do it before, but we didn't quite get finished. So I'm going to give you a set of pictures here. Let me just print screen and paste. And let me crop this so you can actually see it. 1 second. Now, I can't, oh, actually, you can see that pretty well now. I can't get all the pictures on screen at the same time. So we're going to divide this into maybe 3 parts. Okay? But in the last class, we saw a situation here. There's a guy. He's clearly going to the bank in number 1. He's got some money in his hand. At the bank, we can see that there are some rules that he learns about when he opens his checking account. And then the same guy in part 3 looks really excited using his new checkbook. And then in part 4, he's back at the bank. So what I'd like you to do is using those closers, using those connectors, what I'd like you to do is, actually, let me think. Let me just take a look if I'm missing anything here, because what I want to see is, do we have any parallel actions? Because that's what Onair was asking about. Let me see if I have any. No, we don't. Okay, well, maybe we'll look at the other set of pictures. There's a parallel action there. Okay, but for now, let's do this. We're going to begin to tell the story using... We've got 8 out of 10 on this slide. So we're going to start telling the story using the connectors that we have. So think about our sequencers more than anything else, okay? So let's do this. I'm sorry, Darren, let me just mute you temporarily, okay? Because we're getting a lot of noise in the background. And when you're ready to speak, you can turn your microphone back on. Okay, Darren? And Onair, what were you saying? You can't see the pictures on screen?
Yeah.
What do you see on screen right now? You can see 4 pictures, right?
No, I saw it at first, but right now not. I'm seeing your picture.
My picture?
Your smiley face.
That's strange. Yuki, what do you see on screen right now?
Your picture right now.
Yuki,
Yes.
what do you see on screen?
I see the 4 pictures. Yeah.
Really? All right. So I am
So,
out of it then.
yeah, I don't know. Sometimes there's a little delay on your connection. There might be a bit of delay, but I'm definitely sharing my screen. Let
I see
me.
the picture without problem. Yeah.
Okay. Does
Yes.
everyone else see the pictures right now? Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah?
John,
Okay.
I can see the 4 picture cartoon.
Okay. So, Onair, don't worry. Just go to page 10 and you'll see the same thing. If you open the link and go to page 10, that's where we are. Okay, Onair? You can open it or you can download it. Okay? Okay, so Ishmael, maybe what you could do is we're going to start with some people. I can't speak today. Let's start with Ishmael. Okay, and we're going to take one box, one picture each, and we're going to add a connector to try to tell the story. You can talk about this in the third person, this guy or this man. But what I'd like you to do is pick a connector that you think is best and add a little description talking about this in the past. If I was going to tell a story, I might say, let's see, what are my connectors that I'm using here? I'm using sequencers first, so I'm probably going to begin with, first of all, or to begin with. I might say, well, first of all, I had a rough day. I went to the grocery store. Then, after that, I found out I didn't have enough money. So when I got to the cash register, I was holding up the line because I was looking for my wallet. Turns out I left it at home. At the end, I had to go all the way back home and come back, and everyone was really angry at me. Oh, it was a terrible day. Right? So I would like you to get a little practice doing that in a structured way first. Let's each take one picture, add one connector, and see if we can tell the story, and I'll add some new connectors along the way. For example, I said, it turned out. That is also a good expression that we can use. All right? So Ishmael, you're going to take picture number 1. Maria, you're going to take picture number 2. Onair, you're going to take number 3. Yuki, number 4. Then I'm going to give you the rest of the story on the next slide. So let's see how things can begin. Go ahead, Ishmael.
It seems to be a young man
Right.
goes to bank
Mm-hmm.
because it has $200 and he wants to open a bank account.
I agree.
He saw an AD on the bank wall.
Everything you said is fine so far. I want you to say that again using the sequence connectors and making sure that you're saying it in the past. Okay? Everything you said is fine, but let's try that again as the opening of our story, Ishmael.
Mm-hmm.
See if you can fit in any of those sequence connectors that sound best. Probably you're going to start with A because it's the first picture. Okay?
Okay. First of all, a young man goes to bank.
Is the present. Let's tell it as a story in the past. Because when you're telling an anecdote, it's about something that happened in the past. So first of all, a young man goes? No.
First of all, a young man went to the bank because he had $200.
$200.
And he wanted to open a bank account.
What kind of account?
He wanted to open a checking account.
Perfect. That's
because
perfect. No, it's good. It's good. It's perfect. It's good. Now, here's how this is going to work. We're going to go around the room, but you're always going to repeat what the last person said and add your picture to it. Okay? We might want to add a few details along the way, but Ishmael, what you said was perfect. Maria, you're going to repeat his beginning, and you're going to add a new detail in picture number 2. Notice what's written on the wall. You might need that information. Okay, Maria?
But I have a problem. I don't understand the picture number 2. He's talking about...
Okay, tell me what you think is happening. Tell me what you think is going on. What do you see, Maria?
In the number 1, the young man went to a bank. But in the number 2, then I don't understand if he's talking about with a woman.
Look at the what's on the wall behind the man and the woman. What do you see?
Okay, checking account fees.
Exactly. So
I don't understand checking account.
Checking account.
Mm-hmm.
In the old days, before debit cards, we used to have to carry around a little book and we'd write checks. So instead of paying with cash, you could pay with a check. You write a little paper check, rip it off, hand it over, and the store would accept that instead of cash. Nowadays, everyone uses a debit card or a credit card, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but you can still get checks. Of course, you can still get checks. When you get paid every week, a lot of times people get checks instead of a transfer. So it's just, who do you think the woman is, Maria? Who do you think she is? Who do you think the woman is, Maria?
The woman?
Yes. Who is she? Is that his mother?
No.
No. Who is she?
The name to shop assistant? No.
Well, she's in a bank, so she's not a shop assistant.
No. Yes. But I don't know the name to a woman who works in a bank.
Does anyone know what we can call her? Class, what can we call that woman? What's her title?
Banker. Clerk.
Clerk, yeah. Bank clerk.
Clerk.
That's it.
Bank officer, maybe?
Teller.
I would say clerk. It's a good name. Anyone who's behind the counter is a teller is the one who gives you the money. That's a good word too, but that's the one who deals with the money. The clerk is just the name for anyone who works in a store or in an official place like this, a bank. So I'd say clerk. The one who attends customers is a clerk. Okay? So Maria.
How do you write it? Can you write to the chat box, please?
I did write it in the chat box. Look in the Verbling chat. See it?
All right.
I'm going to write in the Verbling chat so everyone can see it. I'm going to try anyway. Okay, Maria. So now that you know who the man is talking to, and you know what he's talking about, right? And you've even got some details in the background, I want you to start with Ishmael's beginning, number 1, and I want you to add information for number 2. And take a look at the sequencers that you can use. Okay, so you're going to repeat Ishmael's and then add yours. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Give it a try, though. Give it a try. I'll help you. So let's start with Ishmael said, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
First of all, what happened?
First of all, a young man went to a bank.
Mm-hmm.
With $2,000.
Yeah. To do what?
To
open
a account bank.
A checking account.
A checking account.
Right. He could have opened a savings account, but he didn't. He's opening a checking account. Savings is, poupanza. I don't know how you say it in Spanish. And checking, they don't have a word for it anymore. So not savings, but checking. Okay, very good. So first of all, a young man went to the bank to open a checking account because he had $200 in his hand. Excellent. Maria, number 2. Now you're going
Number
to
two.
add. Now you're going to add a new connector. So let's go back. Then, very good. What happened?
Then he interview with
It's not. He's not getting a job. It's not an interview. How about he spoke with?
talk with.
He talked with
a clerk. And the
Clerk?
name clerk there.
Clerk.
No.
And he found out what? She told him what?
That talk with
What did he find out about the fees for his checking account? What did he discover? What do you think?
I don't know what discovered.
Okay. Onair, what do you think he discovered when he talked to the banking clerk, to the bank clerk? What did he discover about the fees?
I guess monthly service fee is $8.
So he found out that he had to pay $8 a month.
$8 per week, per month. Yes, I think.
And also, he found out there was no what? Do you know what overdraft is?
No, overdraft. No, I don't know what overdraft means.
Draft means to write. So if you overdraft, you overwrite the amount. I don't mean write above, I mean write too much. So if you overdraft your check, what are you doing? If you overdraft your check, what are you doing? If you write amount that's too high, what's going to happen to the check?
You may lose, maybe. You lose money.
Well, if you don't have the money, if you write too much, right? We say, so two important words here.
Just you cannot draw the money
more than you got.
More than some of your account.
And if you try to, what happens?
If you try to just
what's the bank going to do?
Bank
if you
doesn't pay.
Bank give customer to penalty. Yes.
Penalty, a fee. You have to pay a fee.
Yes.
Pay a fee. So in the chat window, you can see overdraft, bounce. Bounce is when you overdraft your check and you can't cover the money. And finally, pay a fee. So let's summarize our story so far. Okay? A young man goes to the bank to open a checking account because he's got $200 in his hands. So that was first of all. Then he talks to the bank clerk and finds out that he has to pay $8 a month, but there's no overdraft protection. So if he bounces a check, he'll have to pay a $15 fee. Okay? Yuki, let's see if we can continue our story using a new connector here.
In the end...
in the end? Not the end yet. Not yet. Look, not yet. Look at C. I'd use one of those in C, maybe. C or B.
At the end, finally.
No, I wouldn't use that because it's not the end of the story. Not yet.
You mean the fourth picture?
No, the third picture.
Third picture. Okay, I'm sorry. Then after opening the account in the bank, he went to the shop, electric shop, and he tried to buy a new model of television. It's a brand new model. It's quite it sounds quite expensive, but he tried to buy the television with a checking account, with a check.
That's it. Okay.
But the price of the television is more than higher than the sum of his checking account.
So he overdrafted.
He overdrafted. He overdrafted without knowing about the overdraft protection rule in the bank.
Well, without remembering it, at least. Okay, excellent. So we're back to you, Ishmael. You're going to choose a new connector to describe picture number 4, but I want you to summarize the story until picture number 4, beginning with first of all. So look at your connectors.
Sorry, Johnny.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question?
Go for it.
Understand. There is no overdraft protection, but there is
So
a fee for bounce check.
Right. So there's no evidence. Yeah, go ahead. In other words, if there was overdraft protection, you wouldn't have to pay a fee. You wouldn't need to, because there would be insurance to cover it. He doesn't have insurance. There's no overdraft protection, so he's got to pay a fee. There's no margin for error. In other words,
if I overdraft, I have to pay a $15 fee.
In this case, yes.
Yes. Okay.
In a good bank, there's protection. There's insurance. So you can overdraft. In a good bank, you have that, or in a good account. Okay, so look quickly at your sequencers. Okay, and now we're going to go back to picture 4, and I want you to tell the story from pictures 1 all the way through to picture 4 using the sequencers. So don't have to give all the details, but just the main ideas. First of all, what happens, Ishmael?
First of all, a gentleman went to the bank. He wanted to open a checking account. Then he talked.
Good. Next, then
he talked with a bank clerk.
Good.
He found out that he should pay $8.
He had to pay.
He had to pay $8 for monthly bank service, and there is no overdraft protection for a checking account. And
very good. And after that.
And after that, if he bounced a check.
No, but in picture number 3. And after that, what happened? And after that?
And after that, he went to shopping. He bought some new high-tech television in a shop.
Yeah, in a shop. Good enough.
He wrote a check for paying this television.
Okay. And finally, good. And finally, what happened?
And finally, he bounced his check, and he went.
And what's he doing? What's in his hand now?
And he looked very sad in a bank because he bounced his check account, and the bank clerk showed him the fees which he should pay to the bank.
And what's he doing in the picture? Is he paying? Is he paying in the picture? He is. Look at his hand. What's in his hand? He's got 3 $5 bills, so he's actually paying the fee. And he's not looking very happy about it, right? Do you see? In picture 4, he's paying the fee.
I see $0.
No, it's $5.
$5. Okay.
That circle is supposed to be one of the presidents. I think it's Lincoln.
Okay.
And O'Neill, what were you going to add?
You could only pay the bounce check fee to the
Exactly.
bank.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So we've got, the idea here is that we've got 3 basic ideas in each, 4 basic ideas in 4 pictures, and just by using the sequencers, you turn it into a story. There's actually more to the story than this. But what I'd like to do is turn your attention to how we finish a story before we do anything else. So we talked a bit about closers, like so in the end, so in short, so to sum up, all in all, in a nutshell. We've talked a little bit about those. If you go to today's class on page 10, I think it is, which says class 22, 6 of August, no, page 8, sorry, page 8, you will see this text. I'm going to put it on screen for you as well. And what I'd like you to do is get used to our closers by seeing if you can come up with an ending for this story. So now, instead of using pictures, I've actually got a text for you. I'm just going to print the screen and put it into, there you go, you can see it now. Okay, so on screen you should be able to see the text. I know it's a little bit small. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Hold on, maybe I can. Oh, that's too big. Well, I've got some limitations in what I can do on my, hold on. No, that's way too big. Give me a second. All right, that's not going to work. I've got some limitations in what I can do with Microsoft Paint. All right, let me close this and reopen it because otherwise you're not going to be able to see the text. Give me a second here.
You can share your desktop, John.
I am sharing my desktop. I am.
Okay.
Give me a second. You don't want to see my forehead. You want to see this. There we go. So you should be able to see it now. I can't make it any bigger, unfortunately. It's not able to. But remember, we're on page 8 of our shared notes. Now, what I want you to do is see if you can add a phrase to finish the story. Okay? So, I've got 2 stories here, and they're both about something that people don't do anymore, which is very good. But in the old days, this was one of the things you used to do when you were naughty and a kid. Darren, would you like to read the first story for us?
Sure.
Go for it. So you're going to read it, and then we're going to decide as a class how the story
Yes,
might
I can.
end using the key connectors, okay? So go for it, Darren.
Just right.
Go ahead, Darren. Could you read? Can you see the text?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Go for it.
I remember that my grandfather used to smoke Havana cigars.
Huge Havana cigars.
Okay. Huge Havana cigars.
Yes?
He always
Keep going.
All right.
Good.
All right.
Keep going.
He always bought them in boxes which he kept in the kitchen cupboard.
Cupboard.
One day
pronunciation is a little different than it's written. Cupboard.
Cupboard.
Good.
One day when he was in the garden with my grandmother, my brother and I crept into the kitchen and opened the cigar cupboard. When took one of them and hid out in the woods, we took each trying to light it. After a few puffs, we were both
puffs.
We were both
Violently?
violently sick.
Good.
When we found the cougar to go back,
No, wait. The courage.
courage,
Courage.
okay, okay, courage. Our grandmother smelled the sugar on our breath. She was a wise woman and realized what we had been up to. She made us eat some garlic so that grandfather wouldn't find out.
Okay, excellent. Very good. Class, I want you to come up with an ending for the story. I want you to write the ending in the chat window if you could. Don't forget our key connectors for ending a story. They're on page 6 and 7. Oh, it's 7 actually. The closers we talked about are so in the end, so in short, so to sum up, all in all, in a nutshell. I want you to write the last part of the story. Maybe it's just one sentence, maybe it's 1 or 2 sentences, and begin with one of those connectors. Let's compare answers. Okay, so I see Onair's got one. Very good. Anyone else? Really? Only Onair has an ending for me? Onair, let's read your ending. Can you read it for us?
Sure. Firstly, is it grammatically correct, John?
I think so. Sounds good to me.
Great.
Well, let's read it and I'll correct it if it needs to be. It looks good.
Finally, my brother and I promised that we would never smoke again.
Very good. Smoke, S-M-O-K-E, right?
Yeah, sure.
Put the E at the end, not in the middle. So just a typo. Okay, very good. That's one possible ending. Very good.
I can add whenever I eat garlic, I remember the memory.
Excellent. So finally, my brother and I promised we would never smoke again. And every time I eat garlic, I'm reminded of that important lesson in my life. Very good. Anyone else have an ending for me? Using maybe a different connector. So he used finally. That's okay. I would use one of those closers. Like, by the way, you could do that here. Onair, you could do that. If you add the garlic story, you could say, so, in the end, every time I eat garlic, I can't help but remember that important life lesson. Right? That might be a good way. So, in the end, every time, let's put a little brief there. Every time I eat garlic, I remember that important life lesson. Okay?
Okay.
Does anyone else have an ending for me? Maria, do you have one? How would you end this story? Any ideas, Maria?
Yes.
How would you end this story? If you could use a different connector instead of finally, I'd like you to use a different one from page 7. How would you end this story?
I don't know. Your finished story is very good.
Okay. Yuki, do you have a different ending for us? Or Ishmael? A different ending?
Yes, generic.
Go for it. What's yours, Ishmael?
In a nutshell, it was a good lesson for us, and we are never curious about smoking.
And we were never curious again, maybe. Yeah, good. So, why don't you write that for us so we can take a look? Sounds good. Write that for us. And Yuki, what would you say? If you would use a different one instead of in a nutshell and instead of finally, what would you say to end this?
So, in a nutshell, I greatly own my...
Greatly what?
I greatly owe...
Oh, okay. I owe a debt. Like, oh.
Yes, I greatly owe my...
Grandmother?
My grandmother.
Okay. So, in a nutshell, I owe my health to my grandmother.
To her keeping our safety from our father.
Fantastic. From our grandfather.
From my grandfather.
Okay, very good. Okay, let me give you one more opportunity. This is a different story. One more opportunity, and I need a reader as well. So, give me a second here to paste this for you. Okay, I need a reader for story number 2. Oh, hold on a second. It's a little bit. There we go. Okay. So you should be able to see this on your screen now. Well, what do you think, Maria? Can you read this one for us? This is a slightly different story.
Okay, new story. Story 2. When I was at school, some of the other boys said I could smoke cinnamon sticks.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Canela. Cinnamon.
Okay, I don't know. We were too young to buy cigarettes, but anyone could go into a chemist's shop and
Chemist's shop.
chemist.
Farmacia, in other words. Farmacia.
Yes, and buy cinnamon sticks. You say that your mother needed them for cooking. So I decided I must experiment with the smoke.
Maria, we can't hear you. You got to move a little closer to the microphone.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So I decided
on my first experiment with the smoking. And I went and never
Maria, we lost you again. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Because you keep moving away from the microphone, so I can't hear you.
Now?
Yeah, now it sounds good. Yes.
Repeat. So I decided.
No, continue. All right. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I went and nearly spaced the kind of I waited.
Okay, we lost you, Maria. We can't hear you. I don't know what's happening. Something's wrong. You keep disappearing. So, I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
I don't move, eh?
You're not moving?
No. I don't move it.
Something's wrong with the connection then, because we keep losing your voice. Well, I can't hear you. Can everyone else? Are you losing her too?
First read is good. I hear you, but
then she gets quiet, right?
Voice is fading.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. I'm sorry. So Maria, we hear you in the beginning, but then you disappear. So I need to get another reader. But I'll give you a chance to speak in just a minute. Yuki, can you do this story for us, and then we'll look at an ending as a group. At the end of class, we're going to tell our own stories. So notice how, in this case, Onair, notice how when is used, because that's one of the things we talked about. Okay? It would be a good example. Go ahead, Yuki.
From beginning, yeah?
Yeah, let's take it from the beginning, sure.
Okay. To begin with,
to begin with? Where do you see that? Where do you see that? I don't see that anywhere. I see when I was at school.
Sorry, just I'll read, yeah?
Yeah, just read.
I'm sorry. It's okay. When I was at school, some other boys said you could smoke cinnamon sticks. We were too young to buy cigarettes, but anyone could go into the chemist's shop and buy cinnamon sticks. You said that your mother needed them for cooking, so I decided on my first experiment with smoking. In
I went. It's an expression. In I went. It's an inversion to give emphasis. In I went.
In I went means when I went there.
Exactly. When I went in. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. In I went and nervously paid for the cinnamon sticks. I waited till there was no one else at home one day before taking them out and trying to smoke. They tasted horrible. I sat on my bed and tried. So I thought to myself, this isn't worth this isn't worth it unless it makes me look older. So I went into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. Bright red with
Bloodshot.
bloodshot, bright red with bloodshot eyes. I had to admit that I looked like the silly little boy that I was.
Did anyone ever do this when they were young? Am I the only one who did this? Onair, tell us your ending.
At the end, I decided not to believe some of the other boys said.
In the end,
All right.
in the end, let's change that. And you're missing one word here, Onair. I decided not to believe. You're missing a word between believe and some. Do you know what that word is?
Believe in.
No, you're missing an entire word. In the end, I decided not to believe what some of the other boys said. And in fact, to be even better, you could say what some of the other boys had said. It sounds a little bit better because it's a time before a time in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good ending.
Thank you.
So, in the end, I decided not to believe what some of the other boys had said because I knew how stupid I looked. Maria, what would your ending be for this story? And remember, you can always go back to our connectors on page 7 to look at the different closers you could use. Well, how would you end this story, Maria?
Okay, maybe to sum up, the other voice is to say,
To sum up, the other boys
used to say,
Okay, we lost you again, Maria. Sorry, Maria, we can't hear you.
Maria,
but I'll tell you
your
what.
voice is fading. You have to check your microphone.
Yeah, you
Maybe
might have a connection
some problem. Yes.
But Maria, if you write it in the chat window, then I can see it and correct it, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right? 'Cause we're having a lot of problems hearing you. So you write that. And Ishmael, Darren, what would you say? Do you have an ending for us?
Yes.
Go for it, Ishmael.
To sum up, it was a bad experience for me, but I created a good lesson from this and never tried again something like this.
Perfect. There's 2 little changes I would make. Change the word create. Can you think of a better word? Because you didn't create, Ishmael.
Create a good lesson.
Took a good lesson. Okay, that sounds better.
From this experience.
And the second thing, there's a little change you have to make at the end. From this, and never tried something like this again. The again doesn't go in that position. It's got to go at the end.
Never try something like this again.
Exactly. So the again can't go before, it's got to go after the thing that it's modifying or the thing that it's referring to. Excellent. And Maria wrote, to sum up, I learned. Let's keep it in the past. To sum up, I learned. To sum up, I learned that the boys didn't tell me the truth. Didn't tell me the truth. Rather than talk, we're going to use the word tell. Okay? Okay. So just that. Make sure you use the past with learned and change talk to tell, because we tell the truth. Tell the truth. Okay, very good. Well, in the remaining time, here's what I'm going to do. I want you to tell your own anecdote, kind of like the ones that we've been looking at. I'd like you to tell your own anecdote. We have time to hear maybe 2 anecdotes if they're relatively short. Probably not more than that. We've only got about 2 minutes left. But the rest of you, I want you to write your anecdote and send it to me to correct using the Verbaling message system. So you'll still get a chance to do it even if you can't speak in class. All right? Does anyone have a short anecdote that they'd like to share? And all you need to do is go to page 7, 6 and 7, use those sequencers to tell your own story. Who's got one for me?
Yes, John Eric.
Go for it.
When I was a kid, first
of all, right?
When I was a kid, we were playing football with my friends on the street.
Wait. Very good beginning. Wait. Very good beginning. But remember what I've said in the past about using the past continuous. You said we were playing, right?
Yes.
What should you say? You're translating from Turkish. In English, we can't say we were playing, because that would mean
we played football.
We played, right. We played, we used to play, or we would play. You've got 3 possibilities. To keep it simple, we played.
We played football on the street.
Good.
There was a scorching May day. We sweat a lot, and there was a lake close to us. One of our friends told us, let's go to swim in the lake.
One of our friends told us to swim in the lake. Okay. Good.
We went to lake, we dressed out, and we went into the lake to swim. I didn't know how to swim.
Uh-oh.
And our friends swam to the boats anchoring in the lake close to the lakeside.
Very good. Don't forget your connectors. So then I dressed up in my bathing suit and we all went to the lake. And after that, my friend swam out to a boat that was anchored in the lake. And then?
And I wanted to reach with my friend to the boat, but I wasn't good enough to swim to the boat. In the middle of the way.
Right. Very good.
I went down and up 2 or 3 times, and I catch a leg of my friend's. He carried me until the boat.
One of your friends caught you.
To be drowned.
I was going to drown.
I was going to drown.
So, in the end, we
arrived the anchoring boat and we get up the boat. Can I say?
We got into the boat. Is that it?
We got into the boat, and
so all in all, what's the moral of the story? So all in all,
if you don't know how to swim,
don't jump in a lake.
Don't.
Very good. It's a good story. If you don't know how to swim,
don't challenge your limits.
Maybe that's a good idea. Okay, listen everyone. I have to start the next class, but send me your anecdotes as writing and I'll correct it. And you'll have a chance to do them with the corrections in the next class as well. Okay? You can use the Verbling message system to write them and to send them to me. I'll correct them and I'll send them back. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute for the business class. We're beginning a brand new unit today, which is all about being innovative, talking about new ideas in a business context. Good job, everyone. Send me your anecdotes. I'll correct them and send them back, and I'll see you in 1 minute if you're sticking around for the business class. Bye for now, everyone. See you in just a moment.